Hey y'all, so we made it to Houston. I mean, we had some mishaps along the way, and thank you to everyone who watched the last video where I talked about shredding a tire and like having to pivot and do all the things. I said it there in the comment section. I'll say it again. Had the tire completely blown, like if we had just completely lost all the air out of the tire and the van had gone sideways, it would have been a completely different video. I tend to be like okay in situations like that. I've traveled a lot, lived abroad, did a bunch of stuff, so I'm fairly flexible. Car things freak me out just a little bit. So by the grace of God, it went as it did. I realized that it could have been a lot worse, and I agree with everyone that was like, thank you, thank God that you're okay, because that could have been really bad. Yeah. In addition to all of that, the one thing that I learned on the way down, there's some truly beautiful spots that I want to revisit, possibly on my way back to Colorado, but also just that the pace that I took in getting down to Houston was still too fast for me. I didn't end up crashing or anything like that, but we need to go slower. On top of that, my dog. So many people, y'all were cracking me up with the Kyrie's over the shenanigans. She's over the shenanigans here too. She is over Houston and has been practically since we got here. I'll tell you more about that later. So I ended up taking the van in to a dealer that I trust down here in Houston. I know people that work there and got them to take a look at it. I asked about tires, spoke with one of their tire experts. We went back and forth, ended up with the BF Goodrich KO3s that I originally wanted. He was trying to sell me on another type of another type of tire that's really good, but wasn't quite rated for where I want to take the van and where even I have taken the van to go camping and to go adventuring. And so ended up getting the KO3s. And while I was there, I was like, hey, can you check to see if like what maintenance has been done, what maintenance is coming up, just so I'm prepared. I like to know in advance how much money I'm going to spend on things. And so he looked and we realized that number one, this location is where the van was originally purchased. So they have record of the original buyer and all of these things. Number two, the van hasn't had an oil change since 2022. So yeah, we did that too. Yeah, when he said that, I was like, excuse me, because I went in and I looked at the maintenance minder that's part of the Sprinter. You can scroll through and see like when you're supposed to have your next service. And it said I had 70% oil life and that my next service was like in 120 days or something like that. So that, yeah, I wasn't ready to hear that. What? I also learned that there are services that the van is overdue on, one of them being the transmission flush. Now, even though the van only has, I think now, 6,900 miles on it, it is 4 years old. And so they do the thing where it's by mileage or time. And so it was overdue for that. So I went ahead and did all of those things. I replaced the tires and I got the KO3s. I did an alignment on the tires. I did the transmission flush. And I did the oil change just so as I drive away from Texas, as I drive away from Houston and away from my family, I know that the van is in tip-top shape. I know that all of the things have been taken care of until my next maintenance. So that was really great. The funny thing is that I went in thinking they were just gonna go get the tires and put them on. So they ended up keeping the van for several days and they gave me a loaner car. And when I tell y'all, if you know me in real life, like I am very much a Honda Toyota chick. Like bougie vehicles, I know I drive a Sprinter, I know. And it took a lot for me to get there, but they put me in this Mercedes that I think had 60 miles on it, 30 miles on it, something like that. It was brand new. And I was just like, cool, I don't want to drive this. But I ended up having to. It was fine. Like I ended up going to the grocery store. I met up with my niece. We had lunch, which was really fun. One of the highlights of my trip, just getting to spend time with her, eating at Belly Green, and then going across the way, like across the courtyard, there's a Jenny's ice cream, and Jenny's ice cream is like my favorite ice cream. I actually have to buy it by the pint in Colorado because we don't have a storefront, but for some reason Houston has one. So we went there as well, saw all the flavors that they had, and then got some ice cream to like walk around with before heading back to the car. So it was good times. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but that car was bougie. The other thing that I've been able to do while I've been here, thanks to my brother, I have amazing siblings. So thanks to my brother, I've been able to do some upgrades on the van. No lie, the first thing that he said when he saw the van, because this is the first time any of my family is actually seeing it, any of my family down here in Texas. He was just like, what's wrong with the trim on your van? What do you mean? And he's like, why does it look like that? It looks super faded. Like, why, what, you need to fix that. As only brothers can, you know. So he actually went and he got me this plastic restorer that helps to like restore the black trim on the van and make it not look as washed out. I did do one coating of it, and oddly enough, I kind of crashed after that. It made no sense because I actually sat in a chair and I put it all on that way. I dried it, I wiped it off and stuff while sitting down, and I still had a fatigue crash, a small one, not a big one after that. But I did one coat. I need to go back and do another coat because I think it's going to take multiple to get that faded look out of it. And again, the van sat for a really long time, I think. I don't think they moved it. I think that's part of the reason why the tire did what it did. And so this is just a way to restore that. In addition, I saw in our, like the owners forum on Facebook that for GeoTrek, that people are putting hooks along the door. There are some bolts that are up there and you can just buy like these metal hooks and put them along the sliding door. And so I did that, but I had to get him to drill the holes into the metal hooks a little bit bigger so that they would fit over the screw. So thanks to him for all the help with getting those two things done. There are a couple other things I want to do with the van before I leave. And I'm probably going to call on him to help with that too. So Kyrie, as you mentioned, many of you saw in the last video, she is over all of the shenanigans as far as the van is concerned, but also the van is very much still a safe place for her. It's quite entertaining to watch. Since we've been here, she has been, she's been off. That's what I will say. I think that not being around Hiro, which is the other dog that I live with, he's the French bulldog. I think not having him around, but also not being able to be outside because of the heat, because of the rain, because of all of the things, the bugs and all of that good stuff. All of those things and just being in a different environment has got her on edge. She, I don't even know how to describe her interactions with my family. She like wants them to love her, but she's also super protective of me. So if they get near me, she like spazzes out and tries to guard and stuff. So she spends a lot of time in some of the oddest places. So she's decided that safety is in the kitchen of the apartment where I'm staying, on the rug right in front of the sink or in front of the oven. One of those two places, safe for her. The other place is in the house where like we put down a mat. That's a safe place for her. Or underneath my mother's dining room table. By the way, my mom is not a dog person. We have never, and I mean never, allowed dogs inside. My mom allows Kyrie to be inside. She like, yeah, she can't handle the thought of Kyrie being outside this time around for this visit and us being inside because she's got a whole setup outside as well. But my mom, for whatever reason, has decided that Kyrie is the only dog that can go inside. And they have this very interesting connection that none of us understand, but we're all like, okay. The other place that Kyrie likes to hang out, if it's raining especially, is the bathroom. She's decided that that is her basement. In Colorado, if it's raining, she runs to her crate in the basement, and there's no basement here. So instead, she goes to the bathroom and she just hangs out in there. All in all, I would say it's been a great trip so far. I, again, am so incredibly grateful that things didn't go sideways more than they did on the way down, that I haven't had any major fatigue crashes or any kind of health issues really since I've been here, that I've been able to spend time with family, and that's a big thing for me, especially since my parents are getting older. My dad, if you don't know me in real life, has dementia and has had it for over a decade, so we're just not sure how much time we have with him. So it's been awesome for me to be able to work remotely from here and hang out with him, especially at night when he's awake, and then hang out with my siblings, hang out with my nieces and nephews, and then also my great nieces. So family is pretty important to me, and I realize that none of us are guaranteed tomorrow. yeah, something that I learned at a very young age and something that I try to keep in the forefront of my mind, especially where my loved ones are concerned. So getting to spend time with them, always a gift, and I'm taking advantage of that while I'm here. On the way back, I realized that even though I traveled slowly on the way down, that I still pushed it, flirted with the edges of chronic fatigue, if you will, and that I need to take it even slower on the way back. So we're gonna take probably 5 or 6 days to make that 17-hour trip back. I have a few stops that I want to make, all within that 3 to 4 hours of driving time that I want to do, preferably on the 3 side, not the 4 side. And I plan to take you guys along. So look out for those videos in the future. We're just gonna keep adjusting, keep doing the things that we need to do in order to make this van life thing a reality. I know that traveling with a chronic illness, especially one that flares unexpectedly sometimes, isn't always easy. And I've learned so much from the people in this community who share their experiences. Thank you for doing that. You know that I always appreciate any feedback that you give, and also love hearing your stories. We can continue to grow together, especially those of us who are still, just dealing with having to slow down. It's not fun, but we're gonna make it happen because we have to keep finding ways to do the things that we love. So, with all that said, know that I will be taking you along. We're gonna take it slow. We're gonna travel over 5 or 6 days. We're gonna stop in some really cool places that I will share with you, and we're gonna get there safely. All right, until then, take good care. I'll see you next time.